This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. They knew me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster alone, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. You probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard top, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The home team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright, alright. And you know how to see things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh.
All right. What's up, everybody? All right, audio check is good. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Tuesday, the 16th of December, 2025. We have been consistent, man, and the channel has been growing as a result. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Even with the wonky schedule, I have things that I have to attend to. It's hard for me to lock in on a time, but I appreciate everybody that sticks with me regardless. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We've got Pierce, Aaron, Schiff, Juan, what up, Doe? Says, oh no, Real in the building. We got Romo and Nance. What's up? We got Lauren. We got Get Back Joe in the building. Tell wifey I said hello if you would do that. I would appreciate that. What's going on? Will I Am is in the building. Psycho Billy. Name is kind of scary, bro. Andy Bear says, what up, Doe? What up, Doe? Safety. Listen. All right, so we got some stuff to talk about, man. I just dropped the power rankings video, and I hope you guys actually watch it, because behind the power rankings, there is more to say. All right. So watch that video. The David Montgomery video did very well yesterday. We talked about it on both this channel and Lion Syndicate. I think there's a lot more going on there. But you know what we're going to do today? Every so often, it's great to have like a fan-driven show, right? And I got some topics I can talk about, but we'll try to bring those in if we can. I have one in particular that I do want to talk about Jared Goff. That's what this, and we're going to discuss that. And it's kind of there's a running theme. And I think that it's weird to be in this position, because we haven't been here in a while. And I think this is the first time in this regime that you felt legitimate friction. And I'm not saying that there's friction in the organization. I would not know that. I have my assumptions. I don't know if that's true. But I think for the first time since these two guys have taken over, there is some friction in the fan base. There's a disconnect. So much so that in a surprise move, according to one of my season ticket holder friends, the Fords did not raise the season ticket prices, which is something that they've done the last 2 years in a row. Now we have the highest price tickets in the NFL. They decided not to go up. Why is that? Why is that? Shift says, I could see another loss coming, Derek. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We got 3 games to go. That loss could be the Bears, the Vikings, or the Steelers. I mean, no offense. They're all playing better football than we are. And if we lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we don't deserve to go to the playoffs. With or without TJ Watt. If he's missing and we lose to them, we don't deserve to go. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck, bro. I feel the same way about the Vikings. Justin Jefferson is a number 3 wide receiver with J.J. McCarthy, which in no world should that be a case. He should be target number 1. Jamison Williams will be a number 1 target on a different team. If you lose, the only team that should threaten us in the next 3 weeks is Chicago. And that's because they're going to be at the crib. Right now, they're playing more complimentary football. Okay? They got the most takeaways in the league. That should be, and that's the biggest game of the year. That game, they're all the biggest game of the year now. Also, there will not be a show on Thursdays. I keep, with this channel happening every day now, it's supposed to be, you can see the banner is supposed to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but we start doing it every day. I'm like, yo, I got time. Let's talk about it. Let's try to grow the channel, keep it moving. Shout out to the Pistons yesterday. Could not watch that game because Monday Night Football was on, but Cade Cunningham over 30 points, and the Pistons beat the Boston Celtics, man. It was a great win. I wish I could have seen it, but excuse me, shout out to the Pistons, man, for overcoming the Boston Celtics. Shift says, we have not done good in games Romo has called. Goff is our man. Get off the Goff hate train. Yeah, there's no reason to hate Goff. I think Ratliff will be good. I'm not worried about him. I'm not, any of the 2025 picks, I'm not really judging them right now. You know what I'm saying? It's really too early to see. Plus, they were late. We were picking late. So if you're top 10 in the first round, you need to perform. Like, if you're a first round pick, you should be performing anyway. But the later it goes, I mean, look, like I said, Lamar Jackson was a 32nd overall pick. Week 1 was the last game we had Romo and Nance. That's not looking too good. Let me see. Hate on our DC for not changing out the scheme. Lauren, we have to give DDI 4 games played now. Derek, we can only blame one man, Bradley Melvin Holmes. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And let me see. Overall, 7 games for the Lions, 2 years. What's up? We're stuck in win-loss loop. Aaron says the refs were trying to give the game to the Celtics. Yeah, I can see that. If A-Rod ends our season, bro, Shift. Hey, you know what? That's going to be a segment. We're going to make that a segment. Because guess what? That's the last time he played the Detroit Lions. Appreciate the segment idea, bro. Let me write it down. You done messed up, A-Rod. You done messed up, bro. You done messed up. Shout out to Key and Peele. All right, so Dan Campbell was on 97 won the ticket. And you could, we have not been in this situation for a while. And it feels weird. I'm not going to lie. It feels weird and familiar at the same time. The fact that the Lions have not been in a situation where we're talking about the offseason during the season. We've had enough of that. That's why my targets are only on one person. They really are, bro. And we're going to talk about him as well. Fave says we can't lose to Aaron Rodgers. Old behind. What up, Andy says, hey, Derek, I did some looking back at Demo situation, and there was something said a while back about him going through some off-the-field issues. Okay, did they say what they were? Did they say what they were by any chance? Honestly, Derek, in 2022, we had Romeo opposite Aiden. He was no Myles Garrett or Al-Qadim Muhammad. AQM was a hit from Brad, but he's inconsistent. It sounded personal. Okay. Well, he also said that he felt, he not for us not to forget about him. So I can see a combination of the two. I could. But all right, let me start this segment, man. I gotta pull this over here. But yeah, man, shout out to the Pistons, bro. All right. And I need to update my courtesy tab, but I'm not going to do it this video. So, Jared Goff had something to say. Kind of sounded off on Lions fans, man. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I kind of like it. I like that my quarterback has, he done kind of changed a little bit. You know, babies can do that to you. They can change you. You know what I'm saying? They can make you softer. They can make you see things differently. I'm not saying it's the little girl that him being a girl dad did it, but you never know. But you know what? I think he's starting to embrace the city of Detroit and embrace his role more than ever as the Detroit Lions quarterback. Gave Matthew Stafford a nice little extra long hug. I saw that after the game. I was like, okay. Maybe Jared Goff is saying it's over. Whenever he's asked about the LA Rams, he quickly moves on. And I think that pretty soon, Jared Goff is going to not take any more questions about his time with the LA Rams, revenge game, blah, blah, blah. It's always going to come up, but I think eventually he's going to not respond. Now, I did try to find the actual video of this. I was unable to do so. It could be on the Twitter. I looked on their YouTube page. It is not up yet. I'm sure it'll be up after we make this video. But Jared Goff has some things to say. It's Tuesday, and Dan Campbell and Jared Goff call in. Dan calls into one show, Goff calls into another on 97.1 The Ticket. Dan says some things about what needs to be done and that people are going to have to step up against this game because these are must-win games, right? But then Goff gets on the radio, and I didn't get to hear this myself because I don't watch 97.1 The Ticket. I don't listen to them. I will tune in for clips and things like that when they come up, but I don't really listen to them. But here is what Goff had to say, and this is coming from our guys over at Crunch Time Sports and their YouTube channel. Twitter account. Here's what Jared Goff had to say. Says Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff on the fans that, quote, don't think it's going to happen this year, end quote, via 97 The Ticket. That being either the Super Bowl or the playoffs. Jared Goff responds, quote, I don't need to reinstill faith in anyone. I would love to know the context of this statement. It makes me upset. Okay, you can see what he said there. I'm just not going to repeat it. It makes me upset a little bit to hear that. We got to win this first one, hopefully prove a lot of our people wrong. So there's your quarterback, Jared Goff. And again, I would love to know the context, the full context of that statement. But if he's talking about the playoffs or the Super Bowl, I love that this is coming from JG because it's more than we heard from that other guy. It's more than we heard. We never heard Matthew Stafford say anything like that. But, I mean, it was a different time back then. We didn't have the same access that we have now. I like it. I like that he's showing he got to be like that. And I like that he's speaking up because you know who didn't say anything? Melvin. I'm not going to apologize. I'm on him. You thought this segment was about Jared Goff. It's not. It's about Melvin, Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Cornelius, Holmes. That's what it's about. You got Dan Campbell taking darts, arrows. You ever seen The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring? If you haven't, spoiler alert. Okay, I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to click off this video. 4, 5. At the end of Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, there's a dude. His name is Boromir, and he's fighting to protect the hobbits, Frodo and his friends. And you know what happened? Shout out to Let's Talk Lions, because I know he would love this. Huge Lord of the Rings fan, he would love it. Every video is the Lord of the Rings, love it. Okay? He's fighting off to protect the hobbits, and he takes 3 arrows to the chest. Woof, woof, woof. And he keeps fighting until his last breath. Okay? That's what Dan Campbell is doing. 3 arrows to the chest ever since the trade deadline. 1 arrow after another after another. It was so bad, he had to say the other day, you got to ask Brad about that. Well, Dan, we can't ask Brad about that because he ain't nowhere to be found. He stayed silent. Is this the first year during the year that we haven't heard from Brad? Is it? 2022, right? Did we hear from Brad before Sheila had to come out? Did we hear from Brad that same day that Sheila came out when the Lions were 1-6 and she had to reinstill faith in them so that we could believe? In 2020, that was 2022. In 2023, we heard from him at the trade deadline. In 2024, did we hear from him in 2024? Yeah, we traded for Zadarius Smith. That's right. And in 2025, we didn't hear from him at all. At all. Okay? I'm going to tell you what. When the offseason hit, immediately after the Lions' last game, within 2 days, Melvin is in front of the media. And I'm going to be the first one on YouTube. I'm going to be the first one listening to what he has to say. I love this from Jared Goff. I love it even more because the more the team speaks up, it's going to put more pressure on Melvin. All that talking you was doing last year about Super Bowl, going into 2024 and 2025, you ain't say nothing. It was so bad that we didn't hear from you at all. We're going to be fiending. I cannot wait. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm most excited about once the season ends, is to hear what this dude got to say. Because I'm going to tell you what, every single comment that is going to be asked of Brad, it's going to carry more weight this year. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the sugarcoating, it seems to be fading off. It's like a jawbreaker, man. You got, or one of them, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Let's find out. A 1, a 2, a 3. We are on a 3 right now. No more sugary outside. We trying to get to the center of that thing. No pause needed. I'm 46 years old. I don't got to pause nothing. All right. We trying to get to the meaty, the meaty part, the sugary part of this conversation. Brad Holmes, he got a lot to answer on in the offseason. You think you saw him feeling some type of way leading up to this? You remember him last season? All them questions. Are we still talking about this? Are you only asking me this because Aiden is hurt? You don't think that's going to be one of the first questions this offseason? Brad, we tried to, Al-Qadim Muhammad, he really stepped up. But do you think we need? That's what's going to happen this offseason. I can't wait. Because you got Jared Goff speaking up. He said, I'm sick of it. I would love to hear Brad say, you know what? I'm sick of people talking about the pass rush. I'll run this. You just live here. I would love to hear Brad say that. That'd be funny too, by the way. He'd get destroyed, and I would laugh hysterically. But it's time for Melvin, to answer some questions. It's time. No more running, no more hiding. The spotlight is on you, big dog. You got approximately 3 weeks until the spotlight is right back on you. And it's going to be on you for the next 6 months. Actually, 7. This is your time to shine, bro. And you know what else, too, that I noticed today? I said, wait a minute, Derek. Wait a minute. Brad thought he was cooking. He thought he was cooking. Remember when Brad said that Super Bowls aren't won in March? Y'all remember he said that? He said Super Bowls were not won in March. And I had a question. I said, well, Bradley, Melvin, how would you know? How would you know? I mean, even me, how would I know? I don't know. My team has never won a Super Bowl. I'm just looking at what other teams are doing. They might not be made in March, but they made in August when you trade for Micah Parsons. They made in February when you push and do everything you can to try to get Myles Garrett. They also made if your GM is willing to trade the farm. Okay? I'm not saying the Lions need to trade the farm, but Howie Roseman, I assure you, was ready to throw 3 first-round picks at Myles Garrett. Could you imagine the Philadelphia Eagles with Myles Garrett? Or any team for that matter. A good team, an average team with Myles Garrett. That team immediately goes to C to most likely A+. Immediately. One person can do that. So I am excited about Jared Goff saying something. The team is frustrated. I'm excited. I'm glad that Dan is the kind of man he is to take all. He's the Boromir of this season. That's what he is. Where is Brad a hobbit? Brad might be a hobbit, bro. Using this illustration and this analogy, which hobbit is Brad Holmes? And I'm not even trying to be funny. The hobbits weren't fighters. They weren't fighters. Watch the movies if you haven't. Read the books. They weren't fighters. Brad might not be he might be a hobbit, bro. So we need to give Brad a hobbit name. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. In this analogy, Brad he's not even Gandalf, bro. He the hobbit. So if Dan Campbell is Boromir, who's Gandalf? Who's Gandalf? Who's going to be Gandalf? Who's going to be, and which Hobbit? We need Brad to get a Hobbit name. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I told you, man, playtime is over. Sugar Coats is off. I'm about to create a candy called Sugar Coats, and it's going to have Brad Holmes' face. You know how Shaq got Shaq-alicious? We're going to make Sugar Coats and Brad's home, or his likeness, or a variation of his face. Because I'm done. I'm done. There's no more. He is going into year 6, and we're going backwards. And he's trying to get an extension, and we're going backwards. So that means that in year 6, we should have a Rams-like resurgence. Is that right? Shouldn't we do that? But to do that, you actually have to draft and make free agency moves. You can't have, and I heard this as a stat too. Let me know if I'm right in the comment section. I heard this from Detroit Sports Podcast, the YouTube channel, Detroit Lions on SI, that said that no 2024 draft pick was on the field Sunday. No 2024 draft pick was on the field Sunday. Now you could say, well, Derek, they were injured. Okay. Wasn't Ennis injured coming out of college? Wasn't he? He was injured year 1. He was injured year 2 of his NFL career, right? He was drafted injured. So maybe Brad can't control the injuries, but he can control whether he drafts an injured player. So as you can see, it's going to be a spicy offseason. Shout out to Jared Goff. Shout out to our coach. And I can't wait, Melvin. I'll be ready. Better be glad I'm not credentialed. That's facts. Let me see where we at. Man, let me catch up. Goff is so tired of the SO narrative. Well, you know what? Goff, I understand that, bro, because Goff is new to this. He's new to this. He don't understand. He knew here. He don't understand the pain. And that's why I keep telling y'all, man, these guys work here. We live here. They work here, right? We live in this space. This is our team. We always, no matter what happens to Goff, Holmes, or Campbell, we always Detroit Lions all the time. Yo, are we even beating the Steelers? I don't know. We should, but I don't know if we is. I don't know if we are. He's been a Lion now longer than he was a Ram. It's definitely over. Yeah, I did hear that. That he that was earlier in the season, right? That he had played 72 games as a Ram or something like that, and then 72 as a Lion. Hey, Lori, Melvin was in there. Is Brad in the Bahamas? He might be. Where's Brad Holmes? Why is he missing in action? Brad Holmes is starting to feel like his only job is to dangle a carrot in front of the fans to make the Fords money. Whoa, 85. Yo, we going there? I noticed that's starting to become a thing now. That's starting to become a thing. We went from sell to team, Fords, all they care about is money, to legitimate belief in this team. And now we might not be SOL far, but I can't say no. I can't. There's no reason the Lions should have the highest price tickets in the NFL. There's literally no reason. You're the only NFC team to not be in a Super Bowl. Why are you high priced anything? It's funny, man. If you look at one of these teams that suck, I saw some tickets for maybe like $14. I think it was the Jets. It was the Jets game. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? It costs more to drink a sparkling beer from the stadium, a seltzer beer from the stadium, than to get in. That's crazy. Says love that commercial as a kid. If he wasn't so arrogant, people wouldn't be as irritated by him. You know what, Jay? Yes, that's a great point. They would be more patient, even though I hate that word. I think that Lions fans have been patient their entire lives. Literally, some Lions fans have been patient their entire life. So I hate that word. I hate the word relax when it comes to Lions fans. We shouldn't do either. We should be every year, man. We should be like Jets fans, or where we're just every year is demanding. Not every year we think we're going to win the Super Bowl, but every year we demand to win the Super Bowl, at least until we do, right? A shout out with Rufus. What up, bro? Appreciate the super chat. 9.99 says, I had to listen to my Bears fan coworker tell me today that the Bears offense looks so much better with the Snake as their head coach. It's going to be a cruel summer. You know what, too, Rufus? Is the fact that he could be right? Like, and Caleb Williams contributes to that. Then you got a former running back that in Detroit, he stayed hurt all the time. And then since he left, he doesn't seem to be hurt that much, right? Rome is not even playing. He hasn't played the last couple of games. And for it to be true is what hurts even more. That's what hurts even more. Brad in his villain shirt going to hit different this offseason. In the end of year, in this end, hey, yo, if he have it on, I'ma roast him. If he have it on and we did not appear in a Super Bowl, gonna roast him. I guarantee you that. I'ma roast him so much, he gonna come find me. Brad gonna come find me. What up, Mid? Mid says Brad and his villain. Oh, I already read that. Says, that's what hurt the most. Yeah. Steven, what up, though, man? Says, Derek, did you see the mock draft? They got Lions drafting Mason Thomas, an incredible edge rusher from Oklahoma Sooners. He's 6'3", 245. Steven, who is they, bro? Because you know we ain't drafting. You know we ain't drafting no edge rusher, bro. Stop the cap. Tell them to stop the cap. We ain't drafting no edge rusher. Not until the 6th round. As a matter of fact, if the Lions somehow trade back and wind up with Mr. Irrelevant, that's when they'll take one. That's just how that's going to go. Bears lose the Super Bowl. We need Lions there to have a chance to win NFC North and Super Bowl rings. What's up, Duncan? It's 4:30 and OU still sucks. What up, Troy? What's up, bro? What's good with you, big dog? Good to see you, my friend. Glad you made it home safely. Bears gonna try not to lose, just to laugh the last game. Yeah. You know, it'd be crazy if we're eliminated and the Bears are resting their starters. Ooh. Yo, wouldn't that be something? Oh, my gosh, bro. And you know what? I can't even be mad. I wouldn't even be mad. I would crash out. I'm a crash. You're going to see several. See, my crash outs are not planned. They're not planned. I don't come into a video saying I'm a crash out. But when I start talking, then I start like, yo, it's the emotion started to come to the top. And then that's when the crash out happened. I got to be careful, man. Y'all might legit, I might have a heart attack on camera. Like, seriously. Like, I need to chill out. Okay, well, Brad Holmes never wanted to address the pass rush in the draft and free agency. The only pass rush he drafted and still on the team is Aiden Hutchinson. Well, William, we've got Ahmed Hassanin on the practice squad, okay? We also have Mekhi Wingo. Wingo is also there as well. I would cry real tears if that happened. Hey, don't be sad, Rufus. I cried. Look. I'll be crying too. I'll probably cry too. Goff gonna leave this organization like Stafford after his contract. Who would blame him? The Lions cycle is miserable. Ooh-wee. Yo, this is crazy. Wow, man. Wow. Okay, we got an unplanned. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys when I'm making a segment. Stay within that segment, and I'll read your comment, all right? So we about to make a segment. You'll pick up what it's about. It's something in the air, y'all. I made a video on Lion Syndicate. There was a gas leak, the house next door to mine. It was a gas leak. I came out to get the mail, hit me right in the face. Told my wife, said, hey, I'm going to call when I come back. I had to make a run. She said, I'll call you now. I said, okay, then call. So she called, comes out. The guy, DTE, shout out to him, super nice dude. He comes out and he can smell it, but he can't find it. And then he started, finds it. Turns out it's a neighbor's yard. They had to bring the machine out, dug it up. I saw the pole and everything, man, bubbling up, had to fix it, fixed. But it was a legit gas leak, right? So we're talking about the air changing in the Detroit Lions fan base. See, this was a team that SOL, same old Lions. And it feels good to have gotten away from that. And as far as I'm concerned, I legitimately think SOL is dead. I think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, if it's one thing that they have done for this team, to me, is they have destroyed SOL. And it was replaced with grit. And I appreciate that. I do. SOL was something like we've never seen. And I don't think that what they're going through now, this team has anything to do with SOL. I truly believe that. But you can tell that something is different. The reason I say that is because for the first time since this regime has taken over, there's been a change, in my opinion, in the fan base. I have never seen. We're having these conversations. We're having these conversations in the chat. I'm seeing comments that I wouldn't have seen before. That there might be some belief that's starting to be lost in not Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell has his flaws, but in Brad Holmes, the guy that was glorified for turning this franchise around. See, Lions fans are so miserable. Our history is so miserable that Brad's claim to fame is he's the best general manager we've ever had. He took us from this and turned us to that. That's fantastic. And for that, he gets a round of applause. But that's not all he was brought in here to do. He was brought in here to win us the Super Bowl. He was brought in here to make us competitive and keep us competitive. Keep us in Super Bowl conversations every single year. Now, every team regresses, and we all know we weren't going to win 15 games this year. But to miss the playoff entirely, that's a pretty big regression. It really is, especially coming off a disappointing season like last year. See, unlike the Rams, who regressed after they won a Super Bowl, they also, the guy that helped take them into a Super Bowl and win it was hurt, and he made all the difference in the world. He made, as much as I hate to say that, he did. No Stafford, no Super Bowl. That's just the way it is, right? But there seems to be a difference. The comment section is filling up with questions, a little pushback on Brad Holmes. Some even have said he should be fired. Some even say his contract shouldn't be renewed. Some wonder, is he the guy to take us all the way? And I think after 5 seasons, or what will be in 3 weeks, the season will either be over or we'll be limping into the playoffs. But no matter what, in 7 weeks, the NFL season is over. And at that point, we'll be entering year 6 of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. As a matter of fact, next month is year 6. Is year 6, right? So after year 6 of what essentially would have been the end, Brad's original contract is done after this year. He's going into his extended years. Dan Campbell got 6 years to begin with. He's going into the last year of his first original contract. But why is it? What is it in the chat that you feel is, why do you think the air is changing in Detroit? Midwest says, do you think Brad Holmes pulled the trigger this offseason and grabs Myles Garrett or a guy like Jalen Phillips? That's a great question. Myles Garrett, as much as I would love that, I don't think he's going anywhere because the Cleveland Browns are not going to give him up. And they're going to be picking early. I don't know what they're going to do. If I was the Cleveland Browns, I would give Myles Garrett up. Not necessarily to the Detroit Lions, but that's how you build your team. The Cleveland Browns are not a Myles Garrett away from a Super Bowl like we were 2 years ago. A lot of y'all think we was a cornerback. I disagree because the pass rush helps the secondary. So for me, if I'm Andrew Berry, I talk to the owners and I say, listen, this might be the best move right now. We're picking top 10. Myles Garrett would give us 3 first-round picks. And if we did this right, we might get a first-round pick this year. But if not, could you imagine? Now you're the Cleveland Browns. You're heading into 2027. Myles Garrett is 30+. And you've got 2 first-round picks for the next 3 years. That's 6 game-changing potential players. Imagine that. That's 10% of your team almost. 10% of that's over 10% of your 53. And if you throw in the practice squad, that's almost 10%. From one man can get you that. The one man and your original draft picks. So for me, I would definitely trade Myles Garrett if I was Andrew Berry, because you're not a Myles Garrett away from the Super Bowl. But why do you think it is a problem? Why do you think the air is changing? Why do you think that people's kind of their eyes are starting to be open? Do you think it's because of the regression? Do you think the fact that it's been 5 years, why do you think people's eyes are starting to open specifically to Brad Holmes? Because I think, to me, Dan Campbell is still the same. He's been a gambler since year one. He really has. Now we know that it works. We know that's how, like he said in the interview today on 97.1 The Ticket, he said, that's what I do. I go for it. And we've come to accept that. We might not like it all the time, but we come to accept it, right? But specifically with Brad Holmes, man, things are different. Things are different. All right, Chad says, winning this first one didn't prove anything, though. The team has already proven everything with losing against running teams, losing to teams Vikings, Chiefs, and Green Bay twice. Aaron says, I think our situation will be like the 02-03 Pistons and the 03-04 Pistons teams. The only difference was the coach and Rasheed Wallace. I think that'll be Brad Holmes and being fired, and Brad Holmes being fired and an extra pass rusher. Okay, Aaron. So let me make sure I understand that. You're saying that similar to how the Pistons got, who was it? Larry, what's his last name? We got Larry Brown. So we got Larry Brown. You're saying that the Lions may need their own Larry Brown by replacing Brad Holmes. Is that what you're saying? Then you're saying that Rasheed would be the equivalent to getting a needle-moving pass rusher. Am I understanding that right? Steve says it's the regression of the coordinators. That's what makes us fans shaky. We don't trust them fully. Okay, so Steve says it's not necessarily a Brad Holmes thing. It is the coordinator situation. So therefore, Steve, you're saying it's not the personnel, it's the people calling the plays. Will says, because we compare Brad to Howie, it's a night and day difference with personnel. Okay, Will, I would have to agree with you. We as in who? I know you're not talking about you or me because we've never done that. But what Lions fans are going to compare a Super Bowl champion to a guy that's never been? Like, in my eyes, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Just like now, who won the trade? The LA Rams or the Detroit Lions? The LA Rams. There's no ifs, ands, or Jahmyr Gibbs about it. The LA Rams, they traded to win a Super Bowl. They won one. Therefore, they won the trade. That's it. As my dad likes to say, end of discussion. You put the period right on end of discussion. There is no more discussion. That is called coping from Lions fans. And I think the coping is now over. Always trying to find excuses for why we didn't do this and why we didn't do that. Think about this, Lions fans. Think about this. In 2023 was year 3 of Brad and Dan. What was the phrase that was used? Year 3 of a rebuild. I hated it. I hated it because I'm like, year 3 of a rebuild. So how many years are you supposed to be rebuilding? Is it year 5? And then in year 6, you're supposed to be a Super Bowl team? What does that mean? Year 3 of a rebuild. You can't be. So we overachieve because we were in year 3 of a rebuild? I hated it. I hated it. I think that, and then in 2024, it was, everybody was injured, but we still went 15-2. Shouldn't we be 2-15? If injuries were that big of a deal, shouldn't we be 2-15? But here's the thing. The defense was that big of a deal. That's what the problem was. And you could argue that a lot of the defenders was our one and only pass rusher until we traded for, both of our bookend pass rushers were injured by week 7. So it's always a coping thing. And what is it going to be in 2025? What are we going to say? Now, you know what the cope is in 2025? Oh, we have a tough schedule. No, duh. That's what happens. It's literally how the NFL works. The better your team is, the harder your schedule the following season. That's how it is. Just like if you suck, you got the first overall pick. Y'all remember that, don't you? Matthew Stafford. You remember when we picked 2nd overall just 2 years later, Calvin Johnson. You remember them days, right? You remember when we picked 2nd overall, Aiden Hutchinson. You remember those days, right? When we picked 7th overall, Penei Sewell. When you suck, you pick early. It's called balance. They want to balance the scales. So it's always something. What is it going to be next year, Lions fans? Is that when we're finally going to point the finger at Brad Holmes? Or will we point the finger at the ownership, which we haven't done that in a long time? We went from sell the team to Super Bowl to, I don't know. I don't know. So let me know your thoughts, man. What do you think? Why do you think the air has changed in Detroit? Is it because you're finally starting to wake up and see what's actually happening here? Brad Holmes is his biggest enemy. He did nothing during free agency. I knew we were in trouble when we re-signed Marcus Davenport, because that told me you didn't want anybody else. You didn't want to get Trey Hendrickson. You didn't want to try to upgrade this team at all. You just wanted Marcus Davenport is so bad. He was a downgrade from last year. That's how bad Davenport is. And when Brad said during free agency or right before the season started, y'all remember when Brad said that he was trying to compare Marcus Davenport to Aiden? And I was like, oh, we're cooked. We are cooked. We are 100% cooked. Not only did Davenport get hurt like we all expected him to do, he did not help Aiden one bit. He got the same amount of sacks he had last year. So something is different, Lions fans. Let me know what you think it is. Let me see. Jay says some of this is a coaching issue. Jay, I hear you, bro. I hear you. It's always going to be a coaching issue, man. It's all, no. I hear you, and I agree with you, but that ain't, nope. Not on it. I hear you, and I'm just not, I've had enough. I've been beat over the head too many times with this Brad Holmes stuff. I've been beat over the head, bro. And if you were to compare coming season after season after season after season after season, what is the one constant? Brad does not move the needle in the offseason. He just doesn't. He does not, bro. Like, he doesn't. If we went back and we looked at the free agent signings, it's been, he's really never moved the needle. It just so happened that Alexander Zaloni, decent signing, right? DJ Reader, decent signing. DJ Reed, label it. I'll let y'all have fun with that. DJ Reed, you trade for Carl, you give up capital, then you don't want to pay a guy who came to perform. I think, you know what I think? Watch out for Amik. Watch Amik, bro. Amik, I don't know. Because you know Amik, he always talking about what came from the dirt. He values himself as he should. I think, like, we might not see Amik. Now, I think he would be a decent person to re-sign. Me, might as well, right? If the Lions do this right, you can keep the core. You might have to get somebody to fill in for Brian Branch in the meantime. Dan Jackson, we have a safety that we drafted that could have an opportunity to build up his resume. But so the secondary, as bad as we think it is, it might not be that bad. Terrion should be back to start the year. DJ Reed is under contract. Brian Branch might take a little time. Kirby, I mean, if he's not ready to go next year, I don't know what's happening. So therefore, the only person you really got to worry about is Brian Branch. And then if you bring back Amik, there's your secondary right there. You got Ennis waiting in the wings, right? He could come in. So to me, I'm not even tripping on the secondary. I'm really not, because next year is next year. They should all be back. Brian is going to be a little later in the season, most likely, but there's even a slight chance that he can start the season. So I don't think the secondary is that bad next year. I really don't. You might have to do something about Amik, and that might be it. That might be, who knows? Once again, though, this defensive line is shot. It is shot. Everybody check this out. Everybody in the secondary is under contract. Not everyone, but out of the people that I just named, except Amik, he's the only one. So you got Kirby, just signed a deal not too long ago. You got Brian heading into year 4, the last year of his deal. You've got Dan Jackson, right? You've got guys under contract. The defensive line, however, not so much. Not so much. You're going to need another DT unless you roll with the ones you have. You're going to need another edge. Marcus Davenport nor Al-Qadim Muhammad currently are under contract. Now, that might change in 2 months, but right now, that's how it is. Wow, Rufus, bro. That's fire. DJ Feed, whoever he's covering. Ooh. You can't be serious about putting freaking Ben Johnson as head coach. Get out. Wait, who said that? Who said that? James says, what the Mid says, where's McNeil? You know, Dan Campbell was asked about his production today. I forgot what he said, but you know, I'm like this. I'm going to look at your body of work before I come at you like that, right? And with Aleem McNeil, he was the number 2 pass rusher prior to his injury. The dude has only been back a month. I am not going to trip about Aleem McNeil. Now, if this carries over to next year, that's why I'm not so hard on Hutch. He's been carrying his defensive line since he got here. So, and of course, he's not making $44 million a year right now. So I'm not tripping about that. By the time Hutch start making that, he should be in his prime. So those two guys, I'm not going to trip on. Because not only they were the best before they got hurt, it might take them some time, especially Aleem. He didn't start the year, right? It's funny because Hutch got hurt in October. He was able to start almost exactly 2 months earlier than Aleem McNeil. So for me, I'm not coming to him like that. Roy Lopez and Malcolm should get more snaps. Speaking of Malcolm, I'm assuming you mean Malcolm Rodriguez. He needs to be re-signed as well. Would you guys re-sign Malcolm? Not Markham. Where's the cap? Would you guys re-sign Malcolm Rodriguez right now? Or would you let him walk? Studio says Mac isn't 100% healthy. Roy Lopez has been decent. I agree. Aleem, I'm not worried about guys taking longer from knee injuries. Brad legit just grabbed a CB off the practice squad. It's on Lions Twitter. Oh, Lord. Congratulations, big homie. I'll catch up with you. Oh. Hold on now. Oh, dude. Wow, the Titans. Yo. Dang. Wait, hold on. Did we sign a guy or did we lose a guy? Wow. Eric Hallett is gone. The Titans, bro. Look, that's not even fair, man. If you are eliminated from playoff contention, you shouldn't be able to sign. Okay, who did we sign? Yo, Eric Hallett, the Titans came and poached him. All right, hold on. Okay. Where did it come from, bro? Who put it out? Wow. Practice squad, Brad. I mean, here's the thing, though. There's nothing you can do now. Like, literally, the only choice he has is a dude off the street, a guy who gets to them in waivers or clears, or a practice squad guy. Speaking of guys that was waived, where do you think Alan Lazard, where do you think he ends up? I have a sneaking suspicion like he might end up on the Steelers. I feel like he might. Because from what I saw yesterday, the Steelers could use another wide receiver. I know they got MVS, and he scored a touchdown yesterday, but it was 3 guys on DK Metcalf, and I feel like he's going to land with them. I don't think we're making the playoffs, says God. Yo, Derek Brad Holmes needs to address the trenches next year. Next year, we sign Keenan Garber. From where? From where? Wow. Okay. Vikings? Alrighty then. Okay. Well, I got a Lion Syndicate video to make. I'm Salty. What up, Salty? What's up, bro? Where you been, dog? Says, we haven't won 2 straight games since September, yet people think we're winning 3 straight to get into the playoffs. Well, Salty, I will say this. I hear your point. And I know that for the past 3 years, our team has played best when their back is against the wall. But everything you said is facts. Based on the Lions 6-7, Yo, the 6-7, based on, you know what? We about to keep 6-7 alive based off the 6-7. You know what that mean for old people? That mean in this instance that the Lions win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. They 4-5 in the last 9 games. 6-7. 6-7. Wait, what the Lions? I just saw something about young Way Kool. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something shady. Let me tell you something shady real quick, and we'll get back into as we keep going. What up, Joe? Joe says, how much would you have to give up for Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett gonna require 3 first-round picks. Would I do that? I wouldn't, because now we need a lot of pieces. Would I have done that 2 years ago? Yeah. Would I have done that going into 2024? Yeah. I don't know. But Brad had massive opportunities. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, Danielle Hunter. He could have tried. He had massive. I mean, Carl Lawson was just sitting there. He was just like, and we decided to re-sign Davenport, which is crazy. No. It was just a hypothetical question. It was just a hypothetical. It was just a thing. Titan says, I would give my left pinky finger. I needs my pinky, bro. Because when I drink, I like to drink like this. See that pinky? See, if I gave him my left pinky, I couldn't do that. Brad is just involved with the CBs. He's allergic to pass rushers. I'm gonna tell you something. I peeped that from the jump. Bro. If you go back and you look at Brad's history, he is in love with the secondary. From trading for guys to drafting guys to free agency guys. He is in love with the secondary, bro. But when it comes to free agency, he don't give that same energy. You know how you somebody be like, keep that same energy. Brad don't keep that same energy when it comes to the D-line. He don't. You gotta, you know what? I got it. Oh, here's the cap. I got it. Here's who's hurt this year. Here we go. Dang, young Way Kool. How the mighty have fallen. All right. I got a prediction. Name a pass rusher that's hurt, that's a cut candidate, or on the last year of his deal, that's going to be who Brad signed. You got to come off an injury. That's who name one. Who on injury reserve right now as a pass rusher or on the last year of their deal that's hurt? Trey Hendrickson. Could it be Trey? I don't know. Could Trey fit the bill? I'm just saying. Free agent. He hurt. He ain't on IR yet, but he might as well be. Could it be? I don't know. Maybe sign Trey to a 1-year, $20 million. I don't know. Justin with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Says, Derek, here's what I think the NFL is trying to set up. They're trying to set up a Bears versus Lions wild card matchup, I think, for ratings. Yes, Justin, that is 100% what I believe as well. To make that happen, here's what has to happen. Bears have got to drop one of the next two. They got to drop. They got to lose to San Fran or Green Bay. That has to happen. The Detroit Lions have to win 2 of the next 3 before they get to the Chicago Bears. The only other option we have is for either Green Bay or Chicago to absolutely fall down the stretch. And with Green Bay having more wins, all Green Bay needs is 1 win. If Green Bay they're 9. Green Bay needs 2 wins. So I'll probably make another video about the playoffs when we get off later tonight after I do the guy that we just signed. But I believe so, and that will be another game for 272. Shout out to Aaron with the super chat. Says Brad Holmes is the type of person to watch something fail 1,000 times and just watch it work once. So in that way, he's just like Jerry Jones. Yeah, that's why when we see Al-Qadim Muhammad starts to get 3 sacks in a game or 2.5 in another one, and then he leads the team in sacks, it justifies Brad not making any moves. But that's cap. Because every move is, look, I'm looking at it like this. Unless your collaborative moves get you to a Super Bowl, they fail. I'm like that, bro. That includes the draft picks, free agent signings. It's a failure, bro. I'm at failure. It is Super Bowl or fail to me. That's where I'm at. 60 years of misery, 2 good years in the last 30, and we talking about dynasty? What's wrong with y'all, bro? That's wrong with this fan base. The heck are you talking about? We were talking about dynasty, y'all. Dynasty. Dynasties, okay, don't miss the playoffs after going 15-2. They might miss the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is. Most Super Bowl winners suck. If you would have told me that the Lions were Super Bowl champions in 2024 and we missed the playoffs, I'd be like, dang. As I'm walking around in my Super Bowl champion shirt and a Super Bowl champion hat and every single piece of merchandise it was, I'd be like, dang, we'll get them next year. We'll get them next year. But that's where I'm at. It is Super Bowl or fail. I'm not going to call it bust. Super Bowl or fail. Unless we make a Super Bowl, it is a failure, period. That's it. There's nothing in between for me anymore. There's nothing in between. This year, not making the playoffs is a failure. Getting to the divisional round is a failure. It is. Getting to the NFC Championship game, a failure. Getting to the Super Bowl, now that's progress. Anyway, we'll save this segment for tomorrow on Aaron Rodgers because we ran out of time. William, with the last super chat of the day, says, thank you, sir. $5. Says, honestly, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. Football is a marathon, not a sprint. Also, Brad Holmes needs to rebuild the trenches in the draft. Everything you said is true. But guess what, bro? We bought out of gas. There's an oxygen tank. Here's the finish line, right? The camera's the finish line. Right before that is an oxygen tank. We might have to stop at that because we don't got enough. We don't have enough, bro. And you could argue that not only is the season a marathon, not a sprint, how you build your team is also a marathon, not a sprint. But sometimes you might have to pick up the pace. You might have to run a little faster. I watched it was some type of ridiculous marathon thing, right? And the dude finished the race, but he missed the time by like 15 seconds, and it didn't count. So he has to do it all over again. His running is like he never did. He was disqualified because he missed the ending time by like 15 seconds. True story. It's somewhere around there. I might have messed up the numbers. So it's not how you start. It is about how you finish, but you got to finish though, Will. You feel me? You got to finish, bro. And until we get there, we ain't finished. We not finished. That's just my thoughts anyway. Anyway, y'all, we out of time. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Go Lions. Go Pistons. Got to win this game, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
And I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether home grown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on the feet. Yeah, you don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Oh. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah.